So here we are. It's been 2 days. This is like a real rarity for me. 2 days I haven't been up here. So always trepidation, but got here. Not a single bird of death was seen anywhere. So it's a really good sign. But I think there's probably not a lot left for them. You know, we cleared out probably 98% of the sea ones from the main lake when we did the main netting. There was still some left, so they were still predating on them. But obviously on the Leney Pond, my extra wires, extra stuff actually managed to get a grip of it and stop that predation on there. So I lost those few C2s in there, you know, that first week, which was pretty devastating. But I got on top of it, which is bloody great, because it was a nightmare. So I'm just doing a quick walk round and see what's what, and see if there is any problems. Doesn't look to be. I've got to check the feeders. I've got to go and check and put the camera down on the feed spot, which I've been moving down the lake, as I'd said. I've been doing sort of 2 weeks in one spot and then moving it. And it's having the desired effect, actually. On the spillway, on the main lake, there is actually quite a bit of silt depositing on the spillway. And that's the idea. And we filled up in here as well. Look, fantastic. Okay. So I'll let you have a little look, because obviously I've put this, I've turned this around over it. I've put the boards back in this top lake, and now we're back up to top level, which is lovely, because it looks lovely again. And the idea for this is because I'm going to be starting to put the C1s, the best C1s, and the rest of the C2s are going to go back in here. So water levels come up in 2 days. It's come up 2 foot. Astro-biblical, isn't it? The amount of water that comes into these waters. It will be a bit lower in temp again, this, which it always is, but it's nice to see it come up to this lovely level, which is fantastic. Nice influx of fresh water. The other idea that I've had with this lake is because I've mentioned it loads of times, because the temperature is that little bit lower. You know, having this bigger volume of water is not necessarily the best, because it takes it longer for it to warm up. Surface area is smaller, you know, and depth is deeper. But this is with a very lowest stock in here, because I've only got, at the moment, there's 15 fish in here. So there's literally nothing in. It's pure fresh water coming out of the, you know, out the ground up here and then into this lake. So the beauty of that means that what I can do is, in the summer period, if we've got a very limited water flow going into the main lake, I've got a capacity to drop basically 3 acres a foot deep. This is 1.5 acres, and I can drop it 2 foot, literally straight into the main lake. So if I need to, I've got the capacity to put a nice influx of fresh water coming through with very little ammonia, very little, you know, nitrites in, which is an absolute bonus, of course. In times where, you know, water temperature might be getting really high in the main lake, oxygen levels may be going a bit lower, although they never do. So yeah, it's just a nice little bonus. I think I said this to you last week, I did track the big machine round here and built myself a little, I'll let you see that, I don't know if you can. Let me just see if that will go. Yeah, here we go. Look, I built just here, I built a ramp down into here. The idea was I was going to actually get the rest of this dug out. Yeah, the old pooper went a bit when I put the big girl down there, and I just thought it's just not the right time. I'd love to have got it all dug out, so I had the whole bit done, but sometimes discretion is the better part of valour, and getting a 16-tonner stuck up here would be an absolute nightmare. So anyway, that didn't happen. So I'm going to wait until the summer. And like I just said, what I'll probably do, wait until the summer, drop 2 foot out of here, let it dry for a month. The fish in here will then have a smaller amount of water, which should make it a little bit warmer. What's going on there? Should make it a little bit warmer. We get a little bit more growth out of them this summer. And it'll dry that little area up there, and I can track the machine and get it done for this coming winter. All right, let's keep the walk going. I'll speak to you later. All right, so there we go. There's them boards. Look, they're leaking. But you know, I don't care about that, because we've got so much water coming in here. That's just giving that nice bit of fresh water going through the main lake. It's been enough to hold it up. I've got to actually replace these boards. They're a couple of years old now, and they're not legit oak boards. They're just Douglas fir tongue and groove, but they do the job, eh? That's all we want. They do the job. Nice to see the level of the lake up though. Does look much nicer when it's up like this. So pucker, lovely jubbly, lovely jubbly. Down there, look, she's looking all right as well. I'm going to go and have a bit more of a look round there and see what it's looking like down there. But hopefully everything's all right. All right, let's give these little ones a little bit of grub. The water temperature's coming up. There we go, Herberts. That might be their last feed until we grade the rest of them. So we shall see. We shall see. All looking good here though, which is fantastic. Can see no predation at all. Everything's growing up lovely. So happy days. Well, I'm actually looking forward to. We had a bit of rain. It was Friday, Saturday. A decent bit. So 25 mil. So be interesting to see if the one-way valve on the inlet up here on the main lake is still open and still pumping some fresh through. Again, it's always nice to be able to control that. It's the beauty of a bypass channel. You know, you can, especially if you can manipulate that water flow, gives you such great control of your lake rather than just having to have a stream come through full time. Especially up here, because we're up at sort of 400 to 500 meters above sea level. It is that little bit colder, and you know, especially at this time of year, I want that water warm as quickly as possible. Firstly, to get the fish through that vulnerable period of 10 to 15 degrees, and secondly, to get them munching and eating and growing. That's the one. All right, let's have a gander. No additional flow coming through the one-way valve there. We've got plenty coming in through the lake, and the fact that I put them boards in would have slowed up that top lake's water coming in, and again, it means that potentially this water can heat up that little bit quicker. Oh, I'm just sussing the scene here at the moment, which is what I've got to be doing in these coming weeks. I'll talk you through it. I'll talk you through my plans. All right, so obviously this area here was our main point of the river breaching into the lake when it flooded. So that's the area that I've, oh, it's going the wrong bloody way. This is the area that I've got a section of Nicospan going to come along here. And then realistically, I'll probably just go to that corner, maybe round to that. That's probably round to this corner over here in one section of the Nicospan. And it's a metre high, so it'll be coming up above this level, which is way above this level here, which was way above the actual overflow water level. And I'm really happy to see this grass growing, and obviously that's going to keep that soil and structure together. But yeah, that's the main area that I'm really going to focus on. So I've got like a 25 metre section here of the Nicospan to put in, and then I'm going to put trees, big tree trunks along the lakeside bank, make it look a little bit more natural. Drive posts in to hold them, and then come in with the machine and backfill with a load of that rock and clay material to really solidify this bank and make sure that I just don't have any of these troubles ever again, because you know, we don't need it, do we? Getting an old man like me, we don't want all that stress. So yeah, that's the plan of action. A lot of work to do here over the coming weeks, and hence that's why I took a bit of time out. And these trees over here are the ones I've got to cut the tree ball, the root ball off, and then I'll lift them onto that other side there and use them to line the lakeside. And it'll give me another couple of hundred on the height of that lakeside bank as well. So all in all, chickadee boo. This is obviously that other section. Let me go down and I'll show you that from you can see how the machine you know, as I was tracking along here when it was that wet, it was too wet for the big machine basically, and that is that's a problem there. So this is where the Nicospan will come in bloody handy. It'll line the bank just down here, all the way along that section, probably from up here. Let me see if I can zoom in on there. No, that's the focus ring, you idiot. No, that's that can't be done. I expect I can. I just haven't worked it out. Yeah, I shall go up into that corner there and start from there, and the Nicospan will come right the way through here, and do exactly the same on the opposite side, because I'm going to need the trees to line that bit of bank along there on the lake side, and then that will do me. It's going to be a few days work, that's for sure, because I've got to truck a load of material in, but look, it's going to be bloody great to have that done. It'll be a huge weight off my mind to get that all sorted. Anyway, let's go up and have a look at the rest of the place. So I came up another day, I think it was probably Saturday morning or late Friday afternoon, and chopped a few more bits of this down, because as you can see, you've got quite a fair bit down, and it's great because it's really opened up. It's really opened up this side of the lake now. Still got structure and still got some trees there. Maybe a few more of these smaller ones I'll try and get out as well, just to keep the main big ones going for an aesthetic look. Also structure and tree roots that keep that bank together. But I get rid of a load of leaf litter coming in the lake, and a load of detritus come winter time, so I can hopefully make the lake more productive again and better. It's an ongoing process, eh? You never stop doing this game, and it's one thing I had to get my head round when I got here, that you never finish. And it's something any of you that are going to look to buy lakes and what have you, if you're a bit like me, and if you're a bit like me and you like to get shit done, and you like to finish jobs and then be able to go, right, that's done. It never happens like that in this game. Mother Nature's an unforgiving mistress that always keeps you on your toes, and it's the nature of farming, I suppose, and owning fisheries and fishery management, is that there's always another job. And so you know, if you can't deal with that, then you've got to seriously think about whether this is the thing for you. I've been a goal-orientated person all my life, and you know, that's why I tick them off. But this one's made me reassess, and you've got to be in it for the journey. It's not about the end result often all the time. It's about the journey of it, the enjoyment you get from being on your lakes, from, you know, seeing your fish grow, from getting out there feeding them, just walking around, being a part of nature, I suppose. It's this is what it's all about, instead of just getting that end result, because the end result can be always be just that next step down the line. But that's the nature of it, and that's why it's so bloody marvellous. Right, guys, just come over the feeding spot, and I've got fish coming up. There's one, look, kipper, right below the boat, look. They've just come to see if I'm going to give them some grub by the looks of it. Unlucky fellas. You're not getting any here at the moment. You have to go up to where the feeder is, don't you? I'm going to go and check that spot in a second. But loads of fish around. All mincing about, looking for some grubbage. I love it. I'm very interested in what this pole is by the looks of it. But yeah, I've checked along the bottom there. Look, it's just been, as you can see, it's just all been cleared off. Massive clear areas between little areas of sort of fine filamentous weed and algae on the bottom there. It's all been hoovered up as these fish have fed heavily over this area. So wicked. Just motoring up to the feeder position and check this at the moment. I've been feeding two areas at the moment. That area I've been putting half a bag in 2 to 3 times a week, and this is getting fed daily. So I want to check this area and see how clean it is, see if it's being cleared right off as well. And then obviously I'll move this if I don't think this is getting the same amount of attention that slightly deeper water's getting. Let's check it out. I would say by those bubbles might have just disturbed fish, so this is getting done. Let's have a look. I don't know with this, the way the camera is, if you can see this. Literally impossible to see here. Oh, that was a tail. because the fish are absolutely troughing on this area, and you can't see anything because the silt is getting kicked up too much. It's literally just absolute bedlam and carnage going on all around the area. Bloody marvellous. Well, that was great. I haven't been up for a couple of days. It's always great to see fish over the feeding spots up at the farm here. I can see multiple areas here where fish have just moved away from that as I've just started the boat up again. So yeah, really good sign. Possibly there's no pellet left from yesterday, so everything's getting troughed at the moment. So I'm tempted. I'll test water temperatures in a minute and see what the what temperature's up to. As I say, this lake heats up real quick, and if that water temperatures come up another degree or 2 degrees, then I'll up the timer on the feeder and start to bump up the feed rates. Again, I'm trying to get it as optimal as possible. Obviously, you can put a load of feed in and they eat it, but they're not utilising it and getting any growth out of it if the water temperature's not right. So you've got to get it right, otherwise really you're just throwing money away. All right, let's get on. See you. So another job that I'm going to do, when I found this big seam of old granite, which actually crushes up quite nice. This runs all the way along here, and what I'm going to do, as soon as it starts to dry up and I can move the cat without making much mess, I am literally going to put line every low bank with a large old tree trunk, stake that in, and then I'm going to backfill with a massive layer of this rock, and I'm going to do all the trails around the whole pond. That way I've weatherproofed it. Then I don't have any more of this mud and carnage that we get come winter time, and I don't have to buy the stuff in and cost us an arm and a bloody leg. So yeah, that's another job to do. I'll take you on that one when I do it. Oh, bloody marvellous day. Caught up with my old mate Wayne and his missus Ange. They were just coming back from a fishing trip, and they dropped in. So Sal made us a lovely quiche this afternoon. I know real men don't eat quiche, but that's just the way it goes. I'm down here on Fensmere. I tested up at the other lakes today. I just wanted to do just water temps, DO2s. It's not really important at this time of year, other than just to keep record. So I tested through here, and I've also had the camera out on the areas that I've had the feed bait since the boys left. So on Saturday when the boys left, the boys didn't use very much bait, and obviously you can't have big fish. Big fish need to eat, and so I understand anglers, don't always want to, they won't feed the fish to the degree that, is often really necessary to maintain weight, because they want to make sure that they catch as many as possible. And that's totally fine, totally understand that. So when the boys left, I'm in this process, remember, at the moment of feeding the, let me take that off there we go. See my ugly mug. I'm in the process of feeding with the immune boosting bait. Feed bait that Billy Berridge at HMV Baits made up for me. So I want to keep that going for this month. Water temperature was up to 13 degrees, so really, really optimal temperatures. The fish will actually be feeding pretty well and processing quite a bit of that. So pretty good. So I put a bit more in today. I checked all the feed areas, and from what I put in on Saturday when the boys left, I'd say 80% was gone. Which is a great sign, means the fish are feeding. And I saw the general today for the first time this year. She looked absolutely massive. So that was fantastic. She had her obligatory couple of smaller males pestering her. What we're like, can't help ourselves, can we? And so that was really lovely to see her. And there's a few fish mincing and mooching about, so that was great. DO2's down low, and 8.5 milligrams per litre. So good oxygenation all around the lake, and everything's bloody marvellous. So that's pretty much it for the day. I'm calling it a day. I'm going to go up and do some office work and sort some other bits out. I'm going to go fishing again tomorrow. I'm going to capitalise on what I've got going at the big barrage. I had another 5 fish out over this weekend, which was good, up to 42, I think, like I said earlier on. So I might put a photo at the end if anyone's interested. Cracking kipper. Stay tuned, because I'm going to get one of the big ones, and there's no doubt about it. I've got them really going. 40 fish so far in 14 sessions, no longer than sort of 4 to 5 to 7, 8 hours. through this winter. So a really productive winter on the big public, which is fan-bloody-tastic. So yeah, so that's me checking out for the day anyway. And I just wanted to say thanks to everyone that has been following. If you are following and you've subscribed, again, brilliant, fantastic. Thanks very, very much indeed. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, because it helps us in terms of subscriptions for the algorithm, and gets the information that's, you know, some people are giving me, I'm getting loads of messages, calls, etc. For people that want to go on this journey or are interested in it and are, you know, passionate about this. So if you can subscribe to my channel, that would be absolutely fantastic and boost my subscription numbers. Greatly appreciative to you. If you've got questions for me, if you've got things that you'd like me to cover that you haven't seen me do already, please just let me know. You can put questions through on the YouTube channel and I'll do my very, very best to answer it, or to cover it in another video later down the track. All right, guys, I'll catch you later. Cheers. Bye-bye.